Alrighty, my friends. I believe that we are live. Let's see who's in the room here, my friends. I've got a great show for you today. Today's lesson is going to really going to help so many folks with practice. It doesn't matter if you're a baby beginner or you've been playing for a long, long time. It's going to help a ton. Okay, so here we go. We got the Panker. We got our Mingo. We got Aaron. I believe that we are live. You shush your mouth there, replay. We got Aaron. We got Joe. We got Raging. All right, we're gonna get going. I know. Rip Chuck Berry. 90 years old though. Was it 90 or 91? Either way, the guy did pretty darn good, and he changed rock and roll history. Right. All right, my friends. We're gonna get into it here. This is how it works. If you've never done this before, basically it goes like this. I teach and I watch your comments, and every now and then I'm going to grab a comment, and then at the end of this I'm going to be answering questions for you. Okay, everybody can hear me fine though. It looks like we got a lot of happy people, 34 people in the room, and here we sorry, there's something flying around there. All right, here we go. So let's talk about practice. So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to talk about how to practice to get the maximum results from what you're doing when you have a minimum amount of time. Okay, now obviously we all have a minimum amount of time, but I think you know what I mean by this. If you're like me, you can't pick up the guitar enough. Okay, and I pick it up for several hours a day, but it's still not enough. I love to play the guitar and I want to get better, and obviously you don't get better unless you're practicing, right? So how can we do this? And I'm going to tell you several different ways to do this, okay? Several different ways to think, several different things to do, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's talk about some less obvious things. Well, really, they're all less obvious, but let's talk about a few of them. Now, number one, we have our practice time. We could really break this up into two categories. We could break this up into when your guitar is in your hand and when your guitar is not in your hand, right? And you're probably saying, well, how am I going to practice guitar when the guitar is not in my hand? I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's talk about that first. Let's talk about how to practice when you don't have the guitar in your hand, okay? So first off, there's a myriad of different things that you can do to practice and to get better at guitar when you don't have the guitar in your hand. How is that, Eric? Well, number one, let's say you are practicing, let's say you're driving down the road and you want to practice. Well, you obviously can't practice because you're driving, but you can always be exercising your hands. How can you do that? Well, you can do that with putty. You can do that with like a grip master. You ever seen those things with the buttons on them that you press down? They have this, they're spring loaded. You can do it with that, but honestly, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You could literally just take, anything. Hey, look. TP, right? Sometimes I have a runny nose down here. That's all that runs down here, okay? There's no bathroom down here. I got to go upstairs. But so using a toilet paper roll is simply all you need. Anything really is going to do. If you have putty, if you have Play-Doh, if you've got anything that squeezes, and it doesn't necessarily have to squeeze either. The whole point of the squeezing is that you can feel that you're doing something. So for me, I work out, and for me, it's like if I do a rep, if there's a beginning and an end to a particular something, you feel that sense of accomplishment. If it's not there, like doing negatives when you're working out, you don't get that same feeling, right? So it's nice to have something that you can squeeze, something that you can feel when you're working. So whether that's a roll of toilet paper, putty, whatever, it doesn't matter. Look around your room. There's 10 things I could use in here. Now, some of them are going to be softer, so they actually squish, and the other things are going to be harder, like a remote control or something like that. Let's talk about that. Let's say you don't have something soft, right? If another thing that you could do to practice, I used to do this in class all the time, all right? I would literally sit there in class. I would do this on the desk. Okay, so you could do this on a desk. You could do this with a remote control, whatever. When we're holding something like this, that's very awkward. We don't normally hold things like this. We hold them like this in our palm. If you've watched my free lesson series, the YourGuitarSage.com/30, those top 30 lessons that I teach, I talk about that. I talk about, when we're holding a shovel, we put it right there in the palm of our hand. But when we're playing guitar, we play like this, right? And that's not natural. So we need to get it to feel more natural by doing it more, okay? Look, there's a ton of things that aren't natural. I know this from watching my 1-year-old, okay? Guy can't feed himself, obviously can't wipe his butt. There's a ton of stuff he can't do, okay? So none of it's natural, even though there's natural things that we do, like eat and go to the bathroom and that sort of thing. So with that being said, every single thing ever is learned, okay? You're learning so much. The guitar, it's learned. So we have to train ourselves, and this is an unnatural movement, just like a lot of things are. So we have to train ourselves. So taking a remote, taking your phone, it doesn't matter what it is, you can sit here and do these exercises. Like I'll do these exercises in the free series there. You'll see 24 variations of what I call exercise 1. Exercise 1 is this, the one that goes like this. I'm playing a little faster than you probably will at first, but then you can vary this 24 different ways by moving your fingers around different ways. So for instance, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, you could do 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. That sort of thing. Now, you don't need a guitar to do that. And again, we're trying to maximize our time. We're trying to maximize our results with a minimal amount of time, okay? So you could do the same exercise right there on your phone. 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, that sort of thing, okay? You don't need to have a guitar with you, okay? So there's 2 things that you could do. On a desk, you could do the same thing. You could be like this, okay? Now, don't discount this stuff. I'm telling you that if you want to be good at any particular thing, you have to do a lot of whatever it is practice-wise, okay? So any amount of tactile practice that you're doing is going to register, is going to add to your guitar playing. So your fingers being able to do certain exercises is going to add to all of that, okay? So don't discount this stuff. And if you don't have a guitar in your hand, you can be doing this, okay? So when we don't have the guitar, having something else to manipulate, just to be moving those fingers, or to be increasing that strength for bar chords, for regular chords, for endurance, everything else. If you feel any sort of fatigue right here, right in here, rarely in your fingers, it's more typically in your hand, that's where most of those muscles are, and sometimes in your forearm. If you're feeling that whatsoever, your hands are not strong enough for your situation, whether that's your guitar action's too high, you're practicing longer than you're prepared to yet. So just like someone who's real excited about working out, and you go work out a ton and you kill it, and then you find out, oh wow, I've burnt my muscles out, now I can't work out for a few days. You don't want that to happen on guitar. So keeping those exercises moving, okay, or keeping those fingers moving is always going to benefit you, okay? So anytime you're not playing guitar but your hands are free, you're talking on the phone, technically you could be getting better at guitar, okay? Do that, okay? Now, let's talk about, we said there's 2 things. When your guitar's in your hand, when your guitar's not in your hands. So we talked about when your guitar's not in your hands, at least be strengthening those hands, if not doing some sort of tapping on something. Phone, doesn't matter, okay? Now, let's talk about 2 types of practice when it comes to having the guitar in our hands. And I'm going to refer to these 2 types of practice as passive and active, okay? Passive meaning you're just kind of like not really paying a lot of attention, but you still can get practice in, okay? And then active is going to be very concentrated, very focused, very specific, goal-oriented practice. Now, to some of you, that just went right over your head and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, this is what I'm talking about. What happens with folks a lot of times is, and this is why so many folks are not experiencing the gains that they're experiencing, just like in working out. It's like if you're not killing it in working out, you're not going to see massive gains. If you're not killing it while you're practicing guitar, you're not going to see massive gains. You're not going to get that forward momentum that you're wanting, that I'm wanting, that we're all wanting. So how do you do that? Okay, well, we have to talk about specifics, and that's going to be the last thing that we talk about, and the most important thing we talk about. Seriously, it's going to blow your mind. But let's talk about some passive playing. So when would you do this passive playing? So a lot of folks, I don't have enough time, I got a couple shows that I watch, and then I got to talk to my girlfriend, and then I got to do this and that and the other thing. Okay, that's fine. Why can't you be practicing guitar at those moments? It doesn't mean that you can be sitting here, hey babe, so how was your day today? Yeah, that's cool. You can't do that, of course, but you could do this, because I do it all the time, especially if I'm talking to somebody boring on the phone, and I'm whatever, sorry, but if you're boring, I'm gonna be bored. Okay, so I could sit here and do this. And yeah, they may hear that in the background, but so what? You know what I mean? It's practice time. So that's another thing that you can do. If you're talking on the phone, here's a big one. If you're watching TV, when I'm watching TV, oh, by the way, my friends, let me, before I say that, if you would, please thumbs up this. I see 10 folks thumbed up it already, and some sad person hit a thumbs down because they hate free stuff and free guitars and free lessons. So boo on you. That's okay. Thumbs up, my friends. Please show some love, and please, even better than that, send this out to some friends. Tweet it, all that stuff. Show the same love that I show you if you would. Thanks. Okay, so the other bit is this passive type of playing, and I do this every single night. I sit upstairs with my other Strat, and I sit there and I practice because my wife and I have a few shows that we like to watch. And I'm going to feel bad if I'm sitting there not practicing, okay? So very, very important that you have that guitar and you're whittling away all the time. Now, you may say to yourself, well, I can't watch the TV and play at the same time. Bull crap. Don't even tell me that. That's bull. You're not creating like a sonata here. You're not you're not writing a song. You're just moving your fingers, man. You know what I mean? So a great exercise, everybody's third and fourth fingers are weak. How did he know that? But it's because your thumb's so far away from 3 and 4 that those fingers are always weak. So we got to practice them all the time. So if you want to do that, a great exercise, you could do this for an hour. You could do this for 3 hours a day, and you're never going to get to the point where you just are so good at this that you don't need it anymore, okay? And this would be a great exercise when you're playing guitar. Now, there's a million exercises you could do, but this is one. So what I call exercise 2, that's in the free course, the YourGuitarSage.com/30. Check that course out. If you haven't already, you got to check that course out, my friend. Oh my God, thank you so much. That just went from, those thumbs up went from 10 to 45 just now. Nice. That's hot. You guys are hot. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So a great exercise is exercise number 2 that's in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. The link for that is below this video. It's free course. A great exercise is to go 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Just over and over again. Let's do this. Okay. That's all I'm doing is 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Okay? Literally, if you do that, that is the number one thing that you could do for your hand, and it's the easiest exercise. I mean, easy as in you don't have to really be thinking about it too much. You can feel, okay? So that's something that I want you to work on when you're practicing guitar. Now, when you're watching TV or doing something like that. Now, I do this all the time, except, last night I was playing Sultans of Swing, and I was playing some solos and some blues and what have you. And I was working on having a very light touch, because the lighter touch that you have, the faster a guitar player that you'll be. So, and you can't just think, okay, I'm going to play light now, although that's the right direction. You have to think that way, and you have to practice that way, and the more you practice, the better you're going to become at that, okay? So, whenever you're watching TV, whenever you're doing something kind of passively where your hands are free and you've got the guitar, that's how you're going to practice, okay? So, two types of practice that you may not have ever thought of before: when you don't have the guitar in your hands, and when you do have the guitar in your hands but you're not really focusing, okay? Now, the third, and to me, the most important way to practice, those other ways are important because it gets in a lot of that cannon fodder, okay? A lot of that stuff that we don't want to practice, but if you're sitting there watching your favorite show, you're not thinking too much of it. You're just playing and you're getting all that exercise in. If you book an hour in, dude, you're an hour ahead of the other guy who didn't do that, okay? So always be thinking that. More time on the instrument. Now, what really matters, what's even more important than that, is what I call focused, specific, goal-oriented practice, okay? It's a mouthful. But any sort of practice where you have a specific goal in mind, and you're being specific, and you're being focused, okay? Now, why is this important? Well, this is important for several reasons. Number one, it's very important when you're trying to get to a new level in your playing, okay? A new level in your playing, because in order to do that, it's going to take all the CPU power that's in here, all the muscle control, everything. It's going to require all of that, okay? And if you're not doing that, if you're not focusing, then you're not going to see those gains. You're not going to get past those plateaus. I hear guitar players all the time, they say, I'm stuck. I can't get beyond this plateau. I'm just stuck. So, how do I do that? Well, you can do this with specific goal-oriented practice. Let's talk about it. So, some examples would be this. I have folks that will say, man, I practice scales all day long. Okay, listen to me, because you're gonna be that, like, that's me. I practice scales all day long, or I practice whatever it is, a lot. Okay, change the phrasing around, whatever you want a little bit. But basically, they practice a particular thing a lot, and then when they go to do their goal, they fall short, and they're like, well, I can't play that Stevie Ray Vaughan lick nearly as fast as he can. But I practice scales and chords all day long. Well, here's the deal. You're not being specific enough. You need to practice that Stevie Ray Vaughan lick 1,000 times, Now, is that going to get boring? It sure is going to get boring. But this is what happens. As things start becoming more boring, it typically means that you're getting better at it, okay? Now, if things get too boring, we got to back away. We got to keep concentrated, and this has got to be fun, right? So, when you're sitting down, like for instance, if I'm sitting down and I've got a solo that I want to learn, okay? And I'm like, I get this question all the time, so I know it's in folks' heads. They say, what exercise can I practice to get good at this particular lick, or to get good at this style of playing, or to get good at that solo? Okay, that's what they ask. They say, what exercise can I do? Forget about thinking about a specific exercise that's going to get you there faster. There's no exercise that's going to get you to your goal faster than playing specifically what it is what your goal is, okay? Now, for some of you, that you just had an aha moment. For other you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not that big of a nugget, Eric. Bullshit. It's a fantastic nugget, and if you really take that to heart and you really do what I'm saying here, you're going to see some massive gains. So, what would be an example? Okay, so if I'm sitting down to learn Sultans of Swing, Mark Knopfler's great tune with the killer solos in it. Well, I'm going to start, I like the solo there, so I'm going to learn that solo, okay? And I'm going to learn it one lick at a time. I'm not going to worry about the second solo when I'm in the first solo. This is being specific and focused. Dear God, this is what's problem. This is the problem with the world today, so much of it. that and not being kind enough. But part of the problem is that folks are so all over the board, they're not focused enough. When you start focusing your mind on tasks, you will be like a friggin' laser beam. Trust me and do this, dear God. Do it, okay? Focus, practice. So, if I want to take Sultans of Swing, I want to learn the solos. I don't worry about the solos. I worry about the solo, solo 1. And let's say that solo is 32 bars. I don't remember how many bars it is. Let's say it's 32 bars. I'm not worried about 32 bars. Dear God, I can't learn 32 bars right away. Can you? I can't. But I can learn 1 bar, or I could learn half of a bar and then glue that other half a bar together, and now it's 1 bar. Hey, by the way, we just reached 100 folks watching, and we got 58 thumbs up. So a few folks are missing their thumbs up. Give me that thumbs up, my friends. Okay, so I'm going to worry about measure 1. Okay, dear God, if you were 3 years old and you knew about all the schooling that you were going to have to do for the rest of your life, right, and the jobs and everything else, you'd probably call it quits. But life didn't happen all at once. It happens 1 moment at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time. And the more that you can focus your playing and your practicing like that, you're going to be unstoppable, okay? All right. We may talk about that a little bit more here. I want to field some questions to you, and also want to let you know, thank you so much for the thumbs up. I just got some more thumbs up, and I really, truly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, so because it does exactly what I want it to do, okay, I just want to look at a couple opinions here and a couple of folks talking just to, okay. Well, all right, we'll get to some of those questions here in just a moment. Really quickly, 2 things I want you to know. There's a free course for you for folks that are just like, I just love Eric's free stuff. I don't want to ever spend any money. I got a link for you below. It's YourGuitarSage.com/30. Enjoy it. Have fun. It's the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students here in Nashville. If you were to see me one-on-one, it would cost you about $900 to $1,000, and it would take 30 weeks, okay? So that's a gift to you for free that I specifically made for folks that really need help and really want to get in there. For folks in other countries where the exchange is different and they don't have the money to get into my course, I want to help you, and that's one way that I can do that, okay? Also, today, there is a link. If you go to YourGuitarSage.com/47, it is my mammoth course that's on Udemy, and that's the complete guitar system, okay? And normally it's like, I forgot how much it is. Anyhow, it's 68% off today. It'll be $47. So normally it's like 100 and whatever it is. For the mathematicians out there, you can figure it out. It's 68% off today, so it's $47. Normally it's like, I don't know, almost $200, I think. 199, 197, something like that. So take advantage of those. YourGuitarSage.com /47, and the free course is /30. Okay. All right. There you go. Let's get to some questions. All right, my friends. Spend the money. It's worth every penny. Thank you, Craig. That's right. Craig is in my course, and I see him all the time in there. All right. So now I'm going to be getting to some questions. Let's talk about some specifics that you might have. Did I get to anything else? Oh, I know. The other thing, while I'm looking at some questions here, the other thing that I mentioned is if your fingers hurt and you are wanting to get better at music, well, do some practicing, do some music theory. Okay, learn about music theory. You don't need the guitar to do that. You can learn theory by just watching videos. I mean, I've got tons of videos just on theory where you don't even need to have the guitar in your hand, just by learning basic music theory. Also, listening skills, ear training, that sort of thing. Okay, where am I from? Did someone ask that? No, they did not. Okay. All right. I see some kids are a little riled up in there. Okay, don't get riled up, kids. Look, man, we're all the same. We really are. We're all the same. We're here to learn guitar. There's going to be pissy people every now and then. I'll boot them. If I see anybody being an asshole, I'm just going to boot them because no one needs time for assholes, right? So let's all be cool here. Let's learn how to play guitar and let's have some fun. Let's get to some questions here, all right? Man, it's moving quick. We got 95 folks in here. Any question? Aman, every penny will be worth of yours. Trust me. Aman, thank you so much. Yes, Aman is taking some courses of mine. I forgot which one he's in. I think he may be in the one that we just talked about. Okay. So Aman is saying, can you show me some jazz startups, sir? Sure. Let's talk about some basic jazz. So really, there are a few chords that if you know these chords, you can take care of so much in jazz. So much, it's just not even funny. And in fact, if you knew these basic chords, you can embellish on top of them, but the basic chords you need to know. So a few are, let's say, the 7th chord, the minor 7th, the major 7th, and maybe a diminished chord, but really those first 3 chords, okay? Okay, so let's talk about a minor 7th. The minor 7th is really easy. Basically, if you do this guy right here, a minor 7th, I'm barring these top 3 strings and putting my 2nd finger on the low E. 5th note's muted, and my 1st finger is playing the 4th fret of the 4th string. Of course, you can watch this broadcast over again if you miss this. Okay, miss any of this. So that's a minor 7th. In this case, it's an A minor 7th. Okay. If you wanted to play an actual 7th chord, that's also known as a dominant 7th. It looks like this. It's basically a major chord, but you're going to lose that pinky. Okay. You can also play it like this, which is going to confuse folks, so we won't do that. So that guy right there, okay. The 7th chord. A major 7th looks like this, and I'll describe it to you in a minute. It's basically a major chord, but the pinky is down a half step, so like this. So if you take this little bit right here, watch this. I'm going to make it easy for you. That's your major chord, right? You take that little bit right there, drop it down 1 string and back 1 fret, and now you're playing all the strings except for 1 and 5. 5's muted. 1's muted. That's a major 7. Okay, I'm not going to show you the diminished, but honestly, Aman, if you know those 3 chords, that's going to help out a ton. Okay, a ton. Been playing guitar for about 3 years, play fairly well, but I mostly use open chords. People tell me real guitars only use bar chords. Why is that? What is the difference? Buddy, Ollie, you are talking, whoever's telling you that is full of ego and full of shit, because there are so many amazing guitar players in town here. Of course they play bar chords. Bar chords are necessary when it's necessary, but some of the best guitar players in the world will use a capo, and they understand the power of the capo and being able to keep everything in an open position. So that's ego talking. Just forget about that. Just ignore it. Bar chords are good to know, though. They are very good to know, and they're very powerful, okay? So don't believe that crap, all right? Okay, what about the 5th, sir? And so you have practiced all the 7th, major, minor, diminished on 6th and 5th strings. What about a 5th? So a 5th, Aman, is the 5 of the chord, and it's really present in all major and minor chords. The one it's not in is it's not in a diminished chord. Okay, diminished chord has the flat 5 in it. But yes, in order to play the minor 7 on the 5th string, then you'd play this guy. Well, here's our regular minor chord, and here is a minor 7. Lift your pinky. Okay. If you wanted to play a 7th chord, here is your regular major chord. It's D major. If you want to play a 7th, what you do is you allow this 3rd string to be played open right there. So that's known as a dominant 7th chord or 7th, right? And then to play the major 7th chord, you take that 2nd finger and put it right there. And that's your major 7th chord. All right? Okay, what is the chord beside... Oh, I can't see what that says. What does that even mean? What is the chord besides the F and B shape that will work well up the neck? What is a chord beside the F and B shape that will work up the whole neck? I mean, there's a ton of them that I cover in that course, the 47 course that I'm talking about. But the ones that I just showed you are really the ones that you would do. All the ones that I showed you are completely movable up and down the fretboard, and those are the ones that I would show you regarding that question. Eric, me and my friend want to play together one song. Any tips for sources to get arrangements for rhythm and lead for beginners? Yes. Okay, so here's the deal. Yeah, ultimate-guitar.com is a great place to get tabs for songs. And they're rated 5-star, and you can see how many people rated it and how many times, how many people have rated it and all that good stuff. That's what I do. And I use a program called Guitar Pro, which is very helpful. If you don't want to spend money, then you can always just use the text tabs that they provide. But ultimate-guitar.com is great, you know. Okay, and here's the deal, guys. Another thing that would be very helpful is if you put a question mark after your question, because there's so many regular comments here. It's easier on my eyes to grab your question if there's a question mark. I'll probably skip over if I don't see it. So, all right. Guitar Mastery Simplified or Ultimate Guitar Guide? Which one do you prefer? Guitar Mastery Simplified or Ultimate Guitar Guide? So I have Guitar Mastery Simplified, Ultimate Guitar Guide. I don't know what that is. You're probably meaning the Unstoppable Guitar System, which is my mammoth course. It's a mega course. YourGuitarSage.com/unstoppable. But obviously that has a lot more information than this book. Although that book is a great book, it's a book, you know. Why did you start playing the guitar, and what was the first song you learned? Jack is saying the first song I learned was probably "Ode to Joy," and it was on a 1-string guitar back in the day. And I think the thing that made me play guitar was the song and the video "Foolin'" by Def Leppard. And I was a kid, 13, 14, something like that. I saw it and was just like, "Dear God, I have to do that." And that was it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was just in, you know. Aman, thank you. You're so welcome, buddy. Good. So love it that you liked that, you know. Share this video, people. Javier Garcia is saying, yes, thank you so much, Javier. Please share this video, my friend. See right underneath my little icon there, right underneath live, and then you see share. Hit that button. Share it, my friends. The more you do, the more stuff I give away. Have you noticed that the more the folks share this, the more guitars I give away, the more books I give away, all that good stuff? Why? Because if more people come, I can actually pay my lights and pay for all the stuff that I need to get, diapers and that sort of thing, and I can make more videos. Pretty cool, right? All right. What book of your 3 do you suggest? Madison's asking. Guitar Mastery Simplified. These can all be found on Amazon, by the way. Just in Google, just type in Eric Andreas Amazon books. You'll find it. But that's the one you want as far as guitar. If you want to learn how to read music, then the How to Read Music, and that one's actually a really popular book on Amazon. And the middle one is ukulele. So if you're playing ukulele, do that. Sir, please help me. I'm trying, Tech Star, I'm doing it. Do you own any Sunburst acoustic guitars? I don't. I do not. No. Jude is saying, can you explain the cage system a bit? Yes, I will. And so the cage system is covered specifically in the course, like the detailed version of this, where you can use the cage system on major chords, minor chords, yada, yada, yada. And it basically, there's one set of videos, which is maybe, I don't know, 8 videos. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. It will massively blow your friggin' chord vocabulary up massively, because it will show you how to use these chords, how to use them all over the neck, yada yada yada. Okay, so explain the cage system really quickly, and I'll have to do it quickly because I have videos on this already. So anything I have videos on, I typically don't spend too much time with because the information's out there already. So, but YourGuitarSage.com/47 I'll say it again, YourGuitarSage.com/47. Thanks for all the thumbs up, by the way. We're up to 71. Thank you. Yeah, I teach that in those courses in detail. So let's talk about the cage system. Basically what the cage system says is that you can take any one of the 5 open major chords, C, A, G, E, and D, and we can take any one of those forms and we can play them further up the neck by the same tonic, by the same note. Okay, so for instance, here's a C. It's a C chord with a C feel, means it feels like a C. If I take this A and I move it up, that's also a C chord. And I could do this for every form that we have, C, A, G, E, and D, but I could do it up the neck. So here's C with the A form, here's C with a G form, here's C with an E form, here's C with a D form. Okay, we can do this for every single major chord, and then in the course, in YourGuitarSage.com/47, in that course that's on sale today, it's 68% off today, 68% off. I show this, how you can do this with major chords, minor chords, 7th chords, minor 7th chords, and I'm telling you, it will absolutely, it will make your chord vocabulary so huge because you're taking every single open chord and basically in any key. I mean, right there, 5 times 12, that's 60 chords right there. So you could play 60 major chords right there just by doing that, okay? So hopefully that helps, my friend. Okay, I love Hendrix stuff and the way he links chords and licks. Can you do some more? Okay, yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So Hendrix, it's so funny. The way that I learned guitar is more the way I used to play guitar and used to solo is more like Hendrix than what I do now. I kind of got away from that, but it wasn't purposeful or anything. It was just, I don't know what it was. But and it was this idea of having a tonal center and then just sticking to that tonal center with that specific scale. But the way Hendrix thought is he would think almost like a jazz player would think, and he would say, okay, well, I'm on this chord, so that means I could play this scale. Oh, I'm on this chord, that means I could play this scale. So with that being said, you could check this out. The information I'm about to tell you right now is so friggin' powerful and so amazing that write it down, do something with this information because it's huge, okay? Every major chord that you play, you could play melodies from the major pentatonic scale over it, okay? Major chord. Any minor chord that you could play any of the notes from the minor pentatonic scale over it. Okay? That's the only information that you need. Now run with that, okay? What does that mean to you? Well, it means if I'm playing Hey Joe, right? So we got a G major here. Oh, I'm sorry, a C major, a G major, a D major, an A major. So what one might do is they might take all those chords and say, oh, we're in the key of blank, and then play a scale over the top of that. The way Hendrix did it is he's like, okay, I'm on a C chord, so I could play C pentatonic, you know. Now I'm on G. Now I'm on D. Now I'm on an A. So So basically, this is C major, and I could play C major pentatonic over the top of that. You know? And when I'm on G, I can play G major pentatonic. And I'm on the D, I can play D major pentatonic. And on the A, I can play A major pentatonic. So what I'm saying here is that if you start thinking that way and start looking at the chord and going, well, okay, I got this chord, and what's the major pentatonic? So while you're on that chord, you could lick around these notes, and it's going to sound kind of Hendrixy, you know? So if I've got these little bits and pieces here, like that come straight out of the pentatonic scale. I'm not playing anything special, it's just pentatonic. So that's a way to think about it, is like when you're on a particular chord, what's the name of that chord? And then play that pentatonic scale over it. If it's a minor chord, you can play minor pentatonic of that name. So if you're on A minor, play A minor pentatonic. If you're on G major, you can play G major pentatonic. So you got to know your pentatonics. I cover that in the free ebook, not this one. That one costs money. But YourGuitarSage.com, just go to that page and you'll see on the right-hand side, middle way down, you'll see a thing. It'll say like, send me my free ebook or whatever. You hit that and it will send you basically a scaled down version of this, and it's going to have like blues scales and pentatonic scales and chords and all sorts of really fun stuff. But that's how to know those scales, and they're really not hard. You could use the same format every single time, the same exact form if you wanted to. Okay, good. Okay, how can I learn playing melody by listening to songs? Is it trial and error or ear training or what? Yeah, it is. It's ear training. It's trial and error. It's all that. There's a musician, well, a lot of musicians know this idea, but it's basically you learn what notes to play by learning what notes not to play. Okay, so if you're playing Happy Birthday to You, this is a great one to start with. Happy Birthday to You. You're not going to just go... You're not just going to like randomly search for it. You're going to be like, happy. Okay, I got my first note. Once you have your first note, you've got your rock. You've got your root. Or not your root, we'll call it the rock. We've got something that we can hold on to, that we can always go back to if we mess up. So, happy birthday to, we know that one's higher. Happy birthday to, and I'm just fishing here. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday. You know, and so on. So take some simple melodies that you know, work with that. It's going to do two things. It's going to help you to understand a concept that I just mentioned to you, and it's going to boost your, oh, Eric's right. I can do this. I am just like Hendrix, just not practiced up enough. And that is 100% true, my friends. If you want to be like Hendrix, practice like Hendrix. If you haven't practiced enough, if you haven't practiced as much as him, you can't complain that you're not playing like him. But you can say, I want to do that. I want to be amazing like that and practice like that, and you will be amazing, okay? Okay, how can I add chords that are in another key? I don't understand that question, John. You'll have to tell me what you mean by that. But if you mean chords that are outside the key, well, they're outside the key for a specific reason. They typically don't work very well together. Now, with that being said, there are some rules out there. It's kind of heady though. I mean, it's deep stuff. It's something that would take it would take a few hours of showing you what it means to be in a key first off, and then the rules on how we could get out of that, how we could mess with the idea of staying outside the key. Okay. But other than that, what a lot of people do is they just grab chords, just randomly grab chords. I wouldn't suggest doing that. It's a big waste of time for me. I say big waste of time. I've done it before, and it helps me to think outside of what I normally know. But definitely, there are some rules. If you want to look up borrowed chords, you'll probably get halfway through it and be like, "Oh my God, this is thick, and this is driving me nuts." So I would like to teach this in my course at some point because I've got all the knowledge in here. I just need to figure out a way to say it. Okay, what pattern or scale do you usually use to improvise? Ahmad is saying blues, pentatonic. I use those a lot of times. If it's something a little bit more melodic, then I might use like major or minor. Every now and then I'll use a mode, but it's pretty rare. Hey Eric, any advice on doing Hendrix-style chords with a thumb over? I actually find them easier to do than bar chords. No real advice other than, don't throw more thumb over the top than you need to. So I see a lot of people, they go to attempt this and they'll really get their thumb over the top and then they're this part of the chord's suffering. Well, if you're trying to play that low E string, right? Well, I'm way over the top. Who needs to be that far over? The only thing I need to be is that. And what does that do? That allows me to bring my thumb over the top of the neck. Also, I try to use the crease there in my finger. I try to use that crease to my advantage. If I don't have enough of a crease there, I'll eat a few donuts and get a fat thumb. And I'm joking. But seriously, I use that crease there, and then it allows me to pull that string close to the neck there, and then I can play that, even though my thumb is over there a lot, I'm still, the chord's ringing out. So I don't have to worry about it, but if I did have to worry about it, then I would drop my thumb down, my hand down a little bit, and just grab that bit like that. So practice on that one, of course. Oh, Aaron. Okay, I see what you're saying. The ultimate guitar guide. Yes, yeah, all three of them as a group. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be all three. Well, actually, no, it's a little bit different. There is ebook 1, ebook 2, and then I have a third ebook, I think. I think I've got a third. It's been so long. I think I've got a third ebook, which is maybe like advanced and blues. But yeah, that's great. Now, it's just different. A lot of the same material, but obviously this is in a book form. It's a little bit more professional. But really, you're getting the same type of mentality because I wrote both of them, and a lot of those bits and pieces are the same. So they're going to be pretty similar, my friend. Okay, Joe is saying, can I have a free guitar pick? Yes, here, my friend. Oh, catch it. All right. Yeah, no, I need to have some picks made, though. Soon we're going to be doing that. Jack is saying, nice Gretsch. Thank you, my friend. That's a 1959 6120, and that is one of my dream guitars. And it's here in my studio. I'm so happy. You are great at promoting in this world. That's a good thing. Thanks for all the lessons and stuff you do. Thank you so much, buddy. I don't love promotion, but you got to let people know what you got because, I started this back in 2005 and just was uploading lessons because I was teaching so many lessons per week. I was up to like 75 lessons a week, one-on-one lessons. And I was teaching a lot of the same songs over and over and over again. So I started making these videos and just uploading them to YouTube. And I finally said, I had enough people start writing in saying, hey man, I want to learn guitar from you. Like, you seem like you can really teach things well. So would you do that? And hence making the course and writing the books and everything else. So just a lot of that, So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Buddy Ali is saying, do you prefer the Strat or the Les Paul? Well, it just depends. It really depends. If I'm playing anything rock and roll, I'm going for the Les Paul. Anything more bluesy, I typically grab the Strat because it's just got that, It's more like, it's kind of fun, dirty sounding, Okay, so Craig is saying, I see how busy you are with teaching YouTube and stuff. You have any time to create original music? Craig, I don't, unfortunately, right now, but it aches inside of me when I see good music. When I hear good music, I really want to do it, and I got to do it. And so I'm working on that. So I can't promise anything because I just don't want to, but, um, you know, I do want to do that. So I do have a project though. For those of you that are interested in some music that I have maybe 3 or 4 songs out there with my wife. A project called Kirby and the Roaches. It's Kerby and the Roaches, and that's here on YouTube. It's a lot of places. We don't have a lot of songs out, but it's just a little project that we started just for fun when we have time, which we have none because we got a newborn now, or at least a 1-year-old. And so there you go. But Kirby and the Roaches. How would you switch between bar chords easier? Nathan, last week I did a whole live video on that. So watch that. That's in my live videos section of YouTube, okay? So I won't go into that right now just because I did a whole bit on that, okay? Sat watching you practice my finger exercises. Great, good, Guitar Man. Go Guitar Man. Sat watching you practicing my finger exercises. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but I imagine you practice the same exercises. What do you think it means, or what's your opinion on when artist claims he will live forever? I don't know. Probably a lot of acid, maybe some cocaine. Well, I don't know. That he'll live forever. I've never heard of an artist saying that, but I don't know of any that have lived forever either. So maybe their music, it will live forever until the earth is obliterated and turned into dust again. Thank you. Yeah, this Strat is a 65, and most so this is known as like the blues players Strat. Like blues players are always looking for 65s, and I love blues. And 65 was the year that CBS bought Fender, and so some real hardcore guitar aficionado vintage guys won't look at 65s because CBS bought Fender and then started changing stuff and making it not as cool. Well, the cool thing about this is it was made in early 65, so it's got all the pre-CBS parts, pre-CBS wood, pre-CBS pickups and wiring and the whole 9 yards. We checked it out. My guitar tech and I checked it out before I actually bought it. I bought it from Grun, and it's like exactly what I want. So thank you so much. So it's a 1965, and it's old enough to where it doesn't have a 5-way switch. It's got a 3-way switch, and I have to kind of get in between the two to get that same sound. And that's how the 5-way switch came about. Is they saw enough people were actually doing that they created a 5-way switch. Jack is saying, have I ever heard of Rory Gallagher? I have, but I have to say, there's so many great guitar players out there, I can't recall. I think I won't even embarrass myself and say what I know him from, but I know the name. Yes, I do. Eric, do you have a video on Canon G&D? I don't. I think I know what you're talking about, though. The one that everybody walks down to when they get married. How can you find chords to songs? Well, practicing your guitar is going to help. It's going to help your ear. Watching videos like mine, like Justin, like Marty, like Brett, like all the guys out there that are creating great lessons. Watching those guys. Ultimate-guitar.com. They've got some great bits there where you can learn. Where you download like a chart, a basic chart. It's not really a chart, but it's like a chord lyric bit, and that's a great way to do it too. And use your ear as you're doing it. Feel the chord. Go, okay, that one's going down. Okay, that one's going up. See if you can get yourself involved, your physiology involved in it. That is helpful, Lesser request Nirvana. Yes, that'd be pretty sweet. Okay, use pentatonics. All right. All right, what do you call those chords? Well, what do I call those chords I'm doing? You probably meant the, hey, that's, see, I've got my do not disturb set up somehow, but somehow somebody got through. Okay, so those chords that I'm playing were just major and minor. Actually, they're all major, but I'm just playing them a certain way here. Instead of playing it like this, I play it with a thumb over the neck. And I have a video for that on YouTube. Just type in YourGuitarSage thumb, okay? Aman is saying, sir, you are so kind. I mean, you just come online to share some knowledge that you got, which you have learned by paying them, and I know it really is hard for survival to be just an online media. Thank you so much, Aman. Yeah, it's a weird business. It's very strange. Something I've never imagined I would be in, but here I am. I've always taught guitar. I've taught guitar since I was in high school. So, you know, there you go. You are used to playing a recorded song live. He doesn't play it so easy. Okay. Oh, Larry is saying, have you given up on releasing the songwriting book? Larry, no, I haven't. This is the thing I'm talking about. I'm so overwhelmed. So I've got to actually, it's done. Technically, it's done. All the bits and pieces of it are done. Now I need someone to assemble it and to do all those bits and pieces. Because, see, normally that sort of stuff is all stuff that me or maybe somebody from my team might do. But we're just over our heads with what have you. That I haven't given up on it, but it's on my list to do. So thanks for being so patient. But yeah, and in fact, the wife just got. Well, I guess I can't even say that yet. I can't officially say that. Let me say this: she just got a cut on a band that is absolutely gigantic right now in country music. And there's a girl in it and several guys in the band, and they're one of the biggest bands that are out there right now. And she just got a song on that album, on the newest album coming out. So that's pretty cool. I'll talk about that more once it comes out and it's official, because, yeah. Any suggestions for practice amps? It depends on your budget, but if you have pedals, you know, that you can hook up to your amp, then that right there is a great practice amp. It's also a great live amp. So if you need a practice amp and a live amp, just spend the money and get one of these guys. I've seen them for as low as $400. It's a Fender Blues Junior, and it screams. It's amazing. I mean, look, super clean, right? And then we got a little bit of fuzzy here. Let's do that, sorry. Right, so we got that little bit of fuzzy, we got some clean. And then we can get heavier with the, you know, some Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, and then we can get even heavier. So we don't get ugly. So that's a great practice amp. Yeah, the Blues Junior. And if you're wanting all the effects and stuff built into one, you can get one of these guys, which is like an Amplify, Line 6 Amplify. Those are pretty cool. And but they're not tube, which tube just has a certain sound to it. That's awesome, okay? All right, been thinking about buying a drum machine. What will do rhythm for playing chords to? Do you have any suggestions for what type, what brand? Man, it's been a while since I bought a drum machine. The Beat Buddy's really cool because you can play it with guitar. It's got a pedal, super easy to use. Beat Buddy, they're kind of expensive, but they're super cool. I've got one here. I'm thinking about doing a giveaway. But a Beat Buddy, look that up. They're super cool. Do you like Shane off Eastbound and Down? Huh. I've watched that show, and I don't... Is Shane the main guy? Because that is a funny show. I've watched it, and it's super friggin' funny, you know? Do I have any Martins? I don't, believe it or not. I don't own a Martin. I just don't. I like them, but I just don't own one. Last question for me. Does string gauge matter? I like using 9s, but so many people say they are too light to play rock and blues. Is that a problem? No, that's bullcrap. People who can't play say that all the time. I swear. I just want to... It makes me so mad because it discourages people. I've never heard a pro say, 9s are too light to play rock and roll, man. Judas Priest, who's one of the heaviest bands out there, plays 8s. Okay, so... bullcrap. Billy Gibbons, pretty good blues player. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not. Plays in ZZ Top. I just spit a massive loogie. But he plays 8s. So, you know, don't listen to people. When people say that, you got to have this or you got to have that, discount them. Get rid of them. That's bullcrap. You'll rarely ever hear me say that, or any player who really knows what they're talking about, a teacher. You're never going to hear them saying, you have to own this type of guitar. You have to own this. It's just people are compensating for a lack of practice is what they're doing. So don't worry about it. These are 10s, only because when I was playing 9s and I was going to bend, they were a little bit slinky for me. And so I just went up to 10s. But I mean, I'll go back and forth, 9s, 10s. Usually not 8s, just because, well, just don't, they're a little thin for me. But, you know, Stevie played 12s. But he was a beast, and he also tuned his guitar down a half step, you know, and he played his guitar 24/7, so he had the muscle strength. So you can't, you know, one size doesn't fit all. That's why there's so many different sizes, you know. Can you play blues with a nylon string? I don't have a nylon string here because that'd be fun, but you can. But you're gonna tear up the strings because they're wound. It's like a piece of nylon with steel around it, so you're gonna tear them up. And you can't bend very well because nylon strings roll underneath your fingers, so probably not. Let's hear the Les Paul or the Gretsch. Before you leave, please, my friend Eddie Cochran used to play a Gretsch like that. Your friend Eddie Cochran? What? Yeah. So this Gretsch is a beauty, and you have to let me know more about your friend Eddie Cochran. You guys know who Eddie Cochran is? He's like if it's the Eddie Cochran I'm thinking about, guy's just a freak on the instrument, you know. Yeah, so this guy, let's see if I even remember, like, I'm not even going to attempt that. I used to could do that. I need to work with that some more, but if you want to hear more of that guitar, I do a lot more with that in it's a Stray Cat video that I've done. Maybe it was, I forgot, but you can type in YourGuitarSage Stray Cats and you'll find it. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're probably gonna be closing up shop here shortly, my friends. Can you do a video on the E rooted minor bar chords. E rooted minor. Do you mean E minor? That's E minor root. It's E root, and it's minor. So I'm not sure what you mean. A whole video on it? I don't know how I can do that. What do you think about Eric Clapton's guitar skills? I think Eric Clapton will say it himself. He probably wouldn't say he's a great guitar player. He's a great guitar player, but he is one of those guitar players that came out at a certain time and was just playing really tasty stuff. But like, to put him up there with Eddie or Hendrix or what have you, I don't know, arguable, I suppose. But he's a fantastic guitar player. So I guess he's a little bit like, to me, like I think about some other guitar players who they're really good at what they do, and that's it. Like the Edge from U2 or Jack White, like guys that are real specific at what they do and they're really good at what they do. So I think he's fantastic, great guitar player. Okay. Can you smash your gear up like Pete Townsend? I could, but I probably won't. Can I make enough money on the streets of a place like Nashville or anywhere similar to that to stay in a hotel or find a ride back home? Madison, how good are you? Send me a video. If you're like kick ass, then maybe I can get you placed. But a lot of guitar players here in Nashville, so you better be at least as good as them, if not preferably better, Then people will stop and listen to you and give you money. If you're not, if you're just mediocre, then obviously people aren't gonna. There's so many guitar players here, so that's the God's honest truth. I could tell you otherwise, but that's the truth. Do you have any daily exercises I should do to improve my guitar playing? Velocity, well, like I was saying earlier, about focus. It's so much about focus. Focus. So there are exercises you could play, but I don't prefer playing exercise. I prefer having a goal. I teach exercises, and that's good in the beginning, but it's good to get specific. So learn a song, learn a solo, that sort of thing, so that you have something to walk away with when you're done. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Raging. I appreciate that. Thanks for the inspiration. Best teacher I've ever had. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, I may get to one more here, and then we're gonna head out. Would I recommend a Gibson Hummingbird? Yes, or a Dove. I love the Gibson Hummingbird. I'm not sure what the difference is between the Dove, but a Gibson Hummingbird is one of my favorites. It's just so beautiful, and it's a great playing guitar. It's so nice. It's yummy. Yeah. Jimmy Page played light gauge strings. I honestly don't know the answer to that, Christian, but maybe someone can look it up while we're online here. I don't know the answer to that, but very, very well could have. Yeah, All right. What do you do against detuning the guitar if you use the tremolo at your guitar? What do you do against detuning the guitar if you use the tremolo at your guitar? Okay, so I think what Aladdin's saying is basically like, how do I keep the guitar from going out of tune when I'm using the tremolo? Usually what you'll find is that more expensive guitars will stay in tune better, but the nut being cut correctly, like if the string is being caught up any place in the nut, even slightly, it will keep the guitar from staying in tune. Also, putting some sort of lubricant underneath the string is really helpful. There's something called Big Ben's nut sauce. That's right, Big Ben's nut sauce. You can look it up after this. Put a little bit of that under the strings, very helpful. Wiggle that tremolo a little bit so it gets it all greasy and what have you, and then that's pretty good, But it has a lot to do with the nut, okay, and making sure that you're pulled into tune in the first place. All right, my friends, I could answer questions all day for you, and I would like to. I really would. I love it, but I gotta go. I gotta make some videos for you guys so you can learn some more. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Really quickly, a couple things. Free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. The course that's so affordable today is the one, link just went up, okay? It's the complete guitar system. It's $68 off right now until Wednesday, okay? 68% off. So I don't know if that makes you happy or not, but that's a lot of money off of the complete course, okay? If you want to get my Unstoppable Guitar System, that's a whole nother creature. YourGuitarSage.com/unstoppable. You can check that out. But the complete course has a lot of what's in that course at a much more discounted price, okay? It's different. It doesn't offer all the bells and whistles that Unstoppable does. But if you're on a budget, it's a great place to go. And if you want free, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Cool? All right, my friends. That's it. I'm out of here. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to try to do these every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you want to put it in your calendar and try to meet me here, I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm really going to try to do this. I might start making promises if I can consistently do this on Mondays, okay? It obviously takes a lot of time out of making videos and everything else, but I love meeting with you guys. I love checking in with you, seeing how you're doing, and all that good stuff, all right? Love you guys. I'm out.